各位同事
Members, it's time for our meeting, and we've also formed a quorum. May I call the meeting to order? Mr. James Tan is out of town, so I'll chair the meeting on his behalf. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Chen Kim-po and Dr. N. Zhang. They have joined our panel. So we'll first elect the chairman for the ED panel in the 2014-15 session. May I remind members that under ROP 77.6, a member who is the chairman or deputy chairman of a related government advisory body shall not be the chairman or deputy chairman of the panel. And ROP 77.7 provides that a member shall not be chairman or deputy chairman of more than one panel at the same time. According to the ROP 22 and Appendix IV election procedures, I invite members to make nominations for the post of the chairman. A valid nomination must be made by a member orally, to be seconded by another member orally, and must be accepted by the member himself. Mr. Lam Shiwing, I nominate Mr. Jeffrey Lam. I accept. Second, Mr. Andrew Leung. Any other nomination? Since I've accepted the nomination, I will invite Mr. Chen Kam Lam to chair the meeting. Any other nominations? Mr. Charles Mok, I nominate Mr. Kenneth Leung. Any seconder? Dr. Fernando Cheung, are you going to second? Mr. Ronnie Tong seconds. Mr. Kenneth Leung, do you accept? I do. Is there any other nomination? All right. All right. According to our House rules, we're going to proceed to a secret ballot. Ms. Aberchen, Chairman, please use your discretion to allow each candidate to speak for up to 1 minute to tell us how it's going to act in a fair and impartial manner. And please ask them to declare interest, because Mr. Jeffrey Lam has a lot of commercial interests. You, being the chairman of the ET panel, may have holdings and business dealings that may have conflict of interest with this panel. You should ask them to take this opportunity to declare interest. Okay. If there is no objection, I will give each candidate 1 minute to tell us his platform. Mr. Jeffrey Lam, thank you. The economy is very important to Hong Kong. The member who requested to speak, or perhaps Mr. Albert Chen doesn't understand this. The economy is not just the interest of a particular interest, but to the whole of Hong Kong. For instance, Occupy Central movement has affected the whole of Hong Kong. Those who advocate Occupy Central has affected our economy. We owe it to everybody's hard work to ensure that our economy can prosper and different sectors can prosper. I will bring to members' attention the global economic trend.
In chairing the panel, well, as you all know, I have been very impartial and fair. I don't take into consideration my own personal interest. What I consider is the overall good of Hong Kong the public's interest and the long-term interest of Hong Kong. So please don't harm Hong Kong's interest for the sake of your own personal interest. Mr. Kenneth Leung. I don't have any interest to declare because I'm not a director of any company, so I can hold meetings, chair meetings fairly. Now, on the topic of global economy, actually, I visited Germany and I talked to the business sector there to share Hong Kong's situation. So I will be doing that continuously. I don't have any conflict of interest, so I will be chairing the meetings more fairly and impartially. If there is no other nomination, then I would declare that there will be a secret ballot for the voting. So please, staff, distribute the ballot papers to the members present. And also a chop with a tick will be given out. According to the House rules, the nominee will be assigned a number based on the order of the nomination. Number 1 is Mr. Jeffrey Lam. Number 2 is Mr. Kenneth Leung. After you have received the ballot paper and the chop, you can start voting. Stamp the chop against your preferred candidate. So has everyone got a ballot paper? So I declare that the distribution of ballot papers will stop. We will not distribute any ballot papers. How many have we given out? 21. Now I would ask the staff members to collect the ballot papers. Let's collect the ballot papers. So the two nominators, please come up to the front and scrutinize the vote counting. Mr. Yu Si-wing and Mr. Chow Smok. So let's first count the number of ballot papers collected.
$21.
21. Let's start counting the votes. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 1. 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 So can the clerk please check the number of votes again? All right. The clerk has recounted the votes. Number 1, Mr. Jeffrey Lam, 15 votes. Mr. Kenneth Leung, 6. So I declare Mr. Jeffrey Lam elected as the chairman of this panel. Congratulations. And would Mr. Lam now take over the chair and deal with the matters remaining? Thank you very much for your support. I will try to do the best job. And I hope that our economy can revive in the coming year. Now we proceed to the election of the Deputy Chairman of the Panel on Economic Development for the 2014-15 session. A valid nomination shall be made orally by a member and seconded by at least another member orally. And the nominee's approval should be obtained. Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. Mr. Chong Kwok Pan. Seconder, Mr. Frankie Yik. Do you accept? Yes, I do. Any other nomination? Mr. Charles Mok. Mr. Kenneth Leung. Any seconder? Dr. Fernando Zhang. Do you accept the nomination? Yes, I do. Any other nomination? If not, do we want to claim a division? No. Okay. Well, the clerk reminded me that there should be a secret ballot. So, staff members, please distribute a ballot paper to the members present and also a chop. Number 1 is Mr. Chong Kwok Pan. Number 2 is Mr. Kenneth Leung. This is a secret ballot. So I hope that you would not be showing your ballot paper to others. And members can close up the ballot papers, but you don't have to fold it. So has everyone got a ballot paper? Yes? If members have filled out the ballot paper, no more distribution of ballot papers, please. So staff, please collect the ballot papers, and members, please put in the ballot paper into the box yourself. Before you do that, please don't leave your seat. Please collect the ballot papers now. We distributed 21 ballot papers in total. So the two nominators, Mr. Wang Tingguo and Mr. Charles Mock, please come up to the front to scrutinize the vote counting.
So far,
we've collected 21 ballot papers. Number 2, number 1, number 1, number 2, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 2, number 2, number 1, number 2, number 1, 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 the clerk has verified the counts, and Mr. Chung Kwok-pan 16 votes and Mr. Kenneth Leung 5 votes. So congratulations, Mr. Chung Kwok-pan. He's elected the deputy chairman. Next, we will discuss the schedule of meetings in the 2014-15 session. We have already got a timetable placed in front of you. So please note that in the last legislative session, we hold meetings at 10:45 at the fourth Monday every month. So if you agree to such an arrangement, please, take a look at the timetable placed in front of you. Please note that for the December 2014, February 2015, and May 2015, there are proposals for changing the meeting date, and that's because of clashes with the holidays.
So,
if you have no comments, we will meet according to the schedule shown to you. Okay? The agenda for our next meeting. Please refer to the list of outstanding items. And also the table on follow-up issues have been distributed to members. The next meeting is scheduled for 27th of October at 10:45. Do we agree to the following suggestions by the administration? First is updates on the Kai Tak cruise terminal, and second, amendment to the schedule of port control, cargo working areas regulations, Cap 81A on fees and charges. Mr. Yu Shiwing, as you all know, the Occupy Central movement has impacted greatly on our businesses and our tourism industry, in particular Causeway Bay and also Mongkok are greatly affected. That was affect our tourism industry. So shall we invite the administration and stakeholders to meet with us? Let's listen to their views so that the administration, we can decide whether we give assistance to the relevant sectors where need to be. All right, I'll discuss with the relevant officials and will inform members the outcome of my discussion with the administration. I'm Elizabeth Quat, Chairman. I've heard from tourists, travel agencies, and the tourism sector that the number of visitors has dropped substantially. So we should ask the tourism board to release the number of visitors to Hong Kong, and so that we have an idea of how profound the impact is on our tourism industry because of the OCM. Well, I called you QE just now. That's the short form of your name. All right, I'll deal with that. Any other comments, Mr. Wong Ting Kwong? The Kai Tak cruise terminal has been commissioned for almost a year. However, the utilization rate is on the low side. I don't know. What plans does the administration have in terms of business development at the cruise terminal? I'd like to know what the administration plans to do to attract more people to the commercial facilities of the terminal. Well, that will be included in number 1 of the agenda. Mr. Christopher Zhou, thank you. Well, the Occupy Central movement has been going on for a while. It has impacted severely on our securities business. This has caused investors and overseas investors to lessen their confidence in Hong Kong. They think that Hong Kong is rather unstable at this stage. So what can we do? Please ask the administration to tell us what it's going to do to restore confidence in our financial sector. I think I will refer this to the financial affair panels, and you are the chairman or deputy chairman of the FA panel regarding the economic impacts of the OCM. And also the impact on our tourism industry. Perhaps we can expand the scope a little bit to cover other businesses or sectors as well. All right. You've all got the list of outstanding items. If members have no objection, we will proceed as proposed. Any AOB? No? Thank you. I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you.